During my first few days of owning this house, before I had any plan of attack for it, I came through and pulled up some of the flooring so you can see it rolled up here in this bedroom on the second floor. And since I did that, it's just been sitting in here, collecting dust. So I figured it was probably about time for me to actually come in and finish the job I started by cleaning up this room. While there weren't any newspapers under this flooring like we've seen in some of the other rooms, there were some pretty cool little cards. Got a Big Mac, and a few Disney cards, so we have Stromboli, Minnie and Mickey. I tried showing the back of the card, but it didn't focus. It just has a bunch of different Disney characters on there. And then Geppetto. And I found a Jiminy Cricket card out in the landing too, so now I have 4 of these cute little Disney cards. A few coins, and then this cool Tusken Raiders Star Wars card. I'm not sure if this was used for a game or what, but it's still pretty cool. The sweep up in here was pretty easy. It's been a low traffic room for me, so there wasn't a lot of dirt tracked through here or anything. It was really just a lot of paint and paper pieces around this outer edge where that flooring didn't cover. And that went fast, but I found another Star Wars card. And here's the after. Still a long way to go, but it's already looking better. The way this wallpaper was hanging off of the wall was too tempting for me to just leave it alone. So I took some time to come through and pull down any of the pieces that came off easily, which ended up being quite a bit of it, actually. Eventually I'll come back through with a steamer or something to get those stubborn pieces off of the wall. But I was happy with how much I was able to get off in this initial run through, and I added 3 new wallpapers to my collection from just this room.
Last week, Dad took down the last remnants of the drop ceiling. This little metal lip held up the drop ceiling in every room, so there was a lot of it to come down. And while I did get some of it down myself, Dad really went to town and got the rest of it down this last week. He's really good at finding these little tricks or systems that make work so much easier. So in this case, he found that he could pry one nail out and then bend the metal strip to where the next nail was, and that made it really easy to know where to set up the ladder next and where he needed to focus on prying. Right now, all of this drop ceiling lip is sitting out in the garage with a lot of the other metal debris that came down with the drop ceiling. I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but I have seen some of you mention in the comments that it may be worth it to take it to a scrapyard. So that's something I'll look into before we just go throwing it away or getting rid of it. And while we watch him take down the rest of this lip, I just want to give my dad a big shout out. I know you guys have seen him in a lot of my videos helping out with various projects, but even when you guys don't see him in my videos, he's usually never too far away. Sometimes he's my cameraman, sometimes he's standing just out of frame giving me tips or tricks or just cheering me on through whatever it is I'm working on. And I'm so grateful that I'm getting to spend this time with him. I am soaking up every single second of this time, and I tell him, I think at least once a day, how happy and grateful I am that we get to be working on this house together. It is definitely not lost on me that this is something very special. So, thank you, Dad.
I hope you guys like the cleaning content because I spent a lot of time on the second floor cleaning it up to get you guys an updated house tour and to get it ready for wall demo in the coming weeks. I'll probably be posting a little bit more frequently this week just because I have a lot to catch you up on before I get back to it this weekend. Starting with this second floor living room. It had just accumulated a little bit of junk from the various projects we did up here, So I took that all downstairs to be taken to the dump. You saw me at the start of the video rolling up the flooring that was in here. I took that down as well. Despite this just being a cleaning day, I burned a ton of calories because yes, I am still walking things down the stairs instead of throwing them out the window. I gotta get my workout in somehow, people. I find it easiest to start sweeping with this smaller broom just to get around the edges and get it out to where the big push broom can reach it. And then you can see I switched over to the big broom so that I can get it all into one pile to be swept up into the dustpan. I love the light in this room. Watching the shadows from the leaves just kind of dancing on the floor always brings me so much joy, so I love spending time in here. And here she is all cleaned up at golden hour. I love how even just the small act of cleaning up made such a big difference in this room, and I can't wait to show you guys the rest of this floor. This room hasn't seen a ton of demo action just yet, so this will be a pretty quick video. I came in to sweep this out. I got into all the little nooks and crannies to get anything that was hiding from me. I'm sure there's still more in behind the tub, but I couldn't reach it with my broom, so that'll have to wait till it gets moved. I put the cover back on the heater just to make this room look a little more put together, as much as a room in this condition can, and then pulled the winterized tape and notice down from the sink and toilet. And she's still looking rough, but at least she's a little bit cleaned up for now. I love this pantry on the second floor. It has a cute little window out to the side yard. These built-in cabinets are gorgeous, but this outdated flooring had to go. And you guys, I was so excited. I found more newspapers under here, which if you've been following my account for a little while, you know that every once in a while I come across newspapers under the flooring that I'm pulling up. These papers in particular are a local publication from 1974. The flooring in this house is one of the only things that I can date, and it's usually because of the papers underneath. I know the year that it went in. Most of these papers were salvageable. The only exceptions were some that were along the edge that I think had been exposed to some water and just had some mold growing on them, so I did not keep them. Finished off with a quick sweep, and I pulled off some of that wallpaper that's hanging into the space. You guys know I can never just leave that alone. And here it is. I think it looks a lot better already. I've already done a lot of cleanup in this kitchen, so this will be a pretty quick video. But as you can see, there's a little pile of wood that's accumulated, and because this is a pretty high traffic room, it needed another sweep. Luckily, I was able to get all of the wood down the stairs in one trip, and then I came back up to move the trash bag out of the room just to give myself a clean slate for sweeping. I started by going through with this little broom to get everything away from the edges, before bringing in the big push broom to get everything into one pile and into the dustpan. And there we go! She's ready for the updated house tour, which that video will be coming soon, I promise. And then the next big project in here will be to start opening up some of the walls. This cedar closet on the second floor is a little bit dark and creepy, but I needed to spend some time in there pulling up the old flooring, and I was glad that I did because I found some more newspapers. These were more from 1974, and they actually had some articles from my town, which was cool to see. Beneath the newspaper was this particle board that had been painted black, which pried up actually really easily. It was not connected to the floor in any way. I think it was just cut to perfectly fit, and that's what was holding it in there. And because the flooring was covered, there wasn't too much to sweep up, but I did still come through with the broom to get up whatever I could, which ended up just being this little pile here. And even though it's still dark and creepy, it's already looking better. A few weeks back, I pulled down these shingles that were in the entryway and lining the dining room, and since they were pulled down, they'd just been sitting in this giant, unorganized pile on the floor. I really wanted to move them out to the garage until I figure out what to do with them next. But some of them still had nails in them that I wanted to take out first, and I wanted to get them a little bit more organized. So I started by separating the ones with no nails, those are going into the bin, from the ones that had nails, which are staying outside of it. Because more than half of them had nails in them, this part was the quicker part of the process. Prying the nails out of every single shingle took me a lot longer. Luckily, my sister came with me this day, and she was working on a book for school, so she read it out loud while I worked on this project, and it made it fly by. I really did my best to shove as many shingles in upright as I could, but it got to a point where the bin was so full I had to start laying them on top. But I was at least able to get all of them on the bin, which made it very easy to pick them up and take them out to the garage where they're still sitting now.
I want to know where I can go when you're not.
These doorways were covered up over the years, but it's time to open them up. This one had just been nailed into the opening to create a wall for the back of a closet they built in the entryway. And this is just the view from the other side of it coming out. And for reference, here's that opening now. Then it was this doorway's turn, which leads to the back bedroom on this first floor. This one was closed in when they added the walls around the staircase. The wall in front of the stairs would have basically cut this doorway in half if they'd left it open. But I think it looks so much better completely opened up.
I know you guys have been asking for it, and I'm finally getting around to doing an updated house tour. We're starting at the side door, and over here to the right is the garage where we've been keeping all of our scrap metal. There's a staircase up to the second floor, and then the only other thing in this little entry area is a closet. This entryway is also where I took down the red shingling. To the left here is the kitchen. Since the last tour, we have taken out the drop ceiling from the entire first floor, and then in this kitchen we also took some drywall down that was up over the cabinets. This bathroom got a little bit of a dusting just so it's usable, but it still needs a deep clean. And the kitchen right now is our catch-all, and is where we put all of the materials that we're going to be taking to the dump. Here you can see all the way through to the entryway, which is also new. We opened up both of those doorways. This little yellow room is the laundry on the first floor, and that takes you through to this back bedroom. And if you've been watching my account for a little while, just for reference, this was the bright red room with the blue carpeting and the wooden accent wall. It has now become our wood storage room because it's pretty cleaned out, and the next step in here will be to take down the damaged plaster. It has a doorway to the entryway and also connects to this front bedroom. This was the blue bedroom that had the really difficult flooring to get up. You can see I've taken down a lot of wallpaper, and I also pulled down a closet that was in here that had been put up after the drop ceiling, so once that was taken out it just looked a little bit silly in here. Both of the bedrooms connect out to the entryway, and at the very front of the house we have these beautiful double doors, and there will be another set right about where we're standing right now. And as I'm sure many of you are aware, this entryway holds the best view in the house, the stairs. And there you can see the doorway into that back bedroom. I tried to get some shots just to orient you guys, because I know it was confusing in the last house tour about where we were and what the floor plan was, so hopefully this helps. But in here is the living room. There was wood paneling all along these walls that I pulled down, and in line with where that fireplace is, there would have been a wall when the house was originally built, and it was taken out at some point. I don't know when or why, but that's why you see this room is a little more open concept than the rest of the house. And here's a doorway into the entryway. Again, just trying to show you guys where we are in the house. And last but certainly not least on the tour is the dining room, which is connected to the kitchen. We still have the second and third floor to go, and I'll do an updated outside tour as well if you guys want to see it. But let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else that you want to see.